And the pressure is on for GOP House members to select a new speaker. The violence in Israel over the weekend adding a new wrinkle. We want to bring in Punchbowl News co-founder Jake Sherman, who is an NBC News and MSNBC political contributor. Jake, where do things stand now? How quickly can this get done? How will it work?
Well, the hope, Becky, is to elect a speaker this week. They have meetings tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Wednesday being the day that they hope to elect a speaker in an internal party election. At this point, though, I don't see either candidate. Steve Scalise, the #2 House Republican, the House Majority Leader, and Jim Jordan, the Judiciary Committee Chairman, longtime House Republican. Neither of them have the requisite support to get through the Republican internal election into the House floor. I would guess, to be honest with you, that this could drag out a couple more days, perhaps even into next week, as they try to rally around one candidate, because the thing they want to avoid is they don't want to go to the House floor with short of the 218 or 217 votes needed to become the speaker. That would be a disaster for Republicans, a repeat of January when they went 15 rounds.
The urgency is really in fine focus here as you sit and look at what's happening in Israel. The idea that nothing can make its way through, no legislation can make its way through without the House having a speaker. Does that motivate anyone to get this done faster? Is there any chance that Democrats would help out in any sort of way to try and make sure that someone comes through?
No chance Democrats will help out in any way, shape, or form. I can't imagine that would happen. But it should add some urgency, and we'll see if it does add urgency. But Patrick McHenry, the House Financial Services Chair, a guest on your show many times, has suggested that he would, to be honest with you, aides around him and people close to him have suggested that if the House needed to do something, they would do something. They would pass legislation despite the procedural hurdles that it would take, because McHenry, quite frankly, can't do anything according to the rules vis-a-vis moving legislation. But if you were in an emergency situation, I find it hard to believe that the House would sit on its hands because it does not have a speaker. But listen, I think that in these internal party meetings tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday, Republicans will make the point that they cannot sit on their hands. They cannot delay in electing a speaker because of this war in Israel. To be clear, though, Becky, the administration has not asked Congress for anything yet. The administration has a lot of leeway. They've sent aircraft carriers into the region. The Congress is going to have to, in the next couple weeks or months, pass legislation to refresh the Iron Dome, to send more munitions to Israel. But by then, hopefully, we'll have a Speaker of the House.
So, Jake, I read a 16-tweet guide to the possibility of meet the new boss, same as the old boss. It was from Chad Pergram about McCarthy. Zero chance, less than 5%. He made some good points in the 16 tweets that I read. I don't know how that would work because those 8 guys are still there. But I don't know those 8 guys. There are not the 8, but there are moderates that don't think Jim Jordan is viable, I think. And I don't know whether Scalise would be more palatable. Do you think that's just totally impossible to think that he could be sort of I don't know, drafted to come back?
I love Chad. I think he's very smart. I don't think that's going to happen for a number of reasons. Number one, I think McCarthy could lose even more votes than the 8 he lost last time. I think Matt Gaetz is not somebody who's going to back off of his threats for better or for worse. I think, to be honest with you, Joe, if you have to look at this situation and find a backup and call to the bullpen type speaker, McHenry is probably your best bet. And I think even he would face tremendous hurdles. But listen, I think a lot of conservatives have said, people who would not normally be aligned with McCarthy, that McCarthy does represent the best cross-section of the House Republican Conference. I do think, to be honest with you, that somebody will nominate McCarthy and try to put him in the mix. I don't see McCarthy getting the votes necessary. I don't see Democrats backing him up. I could be wrong. I just think it's a very big long shot at this point.
Hey, Jake, just to even move farther down this fall, we've had a number of guests come on. You might have even said it at one point that the chances of a government shutdown are super high. I mean, some people put it at 90% or more. Do you think that changes? Does the calculus of what's taken place over the weekend change, given hopefully the bipartisan view around both what's happened in Israel, but not just that, but sort of the need for the U.S. to take some form of leadership?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Listen, I think in 30-something days, the government shuts down, and I think that's a huge hurdle for House Republicans and House Democrats. We interviewed Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise in this morning's newsletter. Jim Jordan says the only way he would refresh government funding is if there's a complete and total stop to migrants across the border. He means that. That's not something people should take lightly. But I do think that the House Democrats are in no mood to help Republicans, to be honest with you. I don't think that's going to change. I think Democrats feel Republicans need to get their House in order. They need to elect a speaker. If that's an interim speaker, a Patrick McHenry or someone like that to guide the chamber through the next couple of weeks, maybe you'd see Democratic votes for that, maybe. But Democrats want way too much for Republicans. That's what Republicans say. And people who are aligned with McCarthy said he would be trading one gun to his head for another gun to his head. Democrats would demand a lot of legislation on the floor. So I think that Democrats feel quite strongly that Republicans have to get their house in order, and it's up to them to do so.